Similar to our own history, the Jedi Order contains many dark secrets that many across the stars would consider barbaric. Although the Jedi may come off as spiritual and righteous beings, they too had moments in time where they danced dangerously close to the dark side when they believed it the appropriate path. The Jedi Order believes in several trials that Padawans should undergo if they are to one day going to become fully fledged Jedi Knights. These trials included a trial of courage, skill, insight, spirit, and finally, a trial of flesh. In the ancient days of the Order, Jedi would be forced to endure trials of pain within the Jedi Temple if one had not been endured in the field. A trial of flesh was one that demonstrated a Jedi could undergo extreme pain and still continue to fight on. For example, during the Clone Wars, Anakin Skywalker experienced his trial of flesh when Count Dooku took his right arm on Geonosis. In the period of ancient Jedi, if a Padawan had shed blood in the field or endured a grave injury, this would qualify them to pass their trial of flesh. In war times, many Jedi also passed their trial of flesh because of their involvement in several intense battles, in many cases also earning them passage through the trial of skill and courage. Those Jedi that did not endure a trial of flesh in the field, however, would be subject to intense pain at the hands of their very own Jedi Masters. The Jedi of the ancient era held a ceremony known as the Burning for those Padawans that had not passed a trial of flesh. The Jedi conducted this trial of flesh by utilizing sparks of intense energy and sending them directly to the exposed skin of a Padawan as a form of torture. Although in most cases this was not lethal, this was extremely painful and could actually result in a massive scar forming on a Jedi Padawan's arm. If a Padawan could endure this torture and prove themselves strong enough, they would be allowed to pass their trial of flesh. The trial of flesh was meant to simulate actual torture at the hands of an enemy, to prove that a Jedi could be able to withstand being tortured if ever captured, and proving their strength and resilience to physical pain, trusting more in the ways of the Force. This trial was also meant to show a Jedi Padawan that they could turn away from the dark side of the Force, as pain is an emotion and a feeling that directly fuels the dark side. Some Jedi have even fallen to the dark side when being tortured, such as Bastila Shan after she was captured by the Sith Lord Darth Malak. In later years of the Order, this practice was deemed far too extreme, as the Jedi formulated the opinion that they should not be inflicting this intense pain on their apprentices, in fear of it leading them down the path of the dark side themselves. Sadly, it was recorded that in the ancient days of the Jedi, several Padawans actually perished during their trials. Even Jedi trials conducted by Jedi Masters personally. In the later years, the Jedi rethought many of their Order practices and did away with this version of the trial of flesh entirely. After a Padawan passed all of their trials, they would meditate for an entire day to ponder on their place in the Force and choose their path as a full-formed Jedi Knight. At this point, they would also be separated from their Jedi Masters, which became a trial for many Padawans and Masters alike. The Trial of Flesh and others were meant to show Padawans and the Order as a whole that they were capable Jedi and could make it on their own, with the Trial of Flesh being the most dangerous trial conducted at the temple itself, with multiple Padawan deaths involved over the centuries, while the burning was in practice. Other notable trials of flesh that occurred later in the timeline was when Luke Skywalker lost his hand to his father on Cloud City. So what are your thoughts on the Jedi's trial of flesh? And do you find it extreme that many ancient Jedi conducted their own, basically torture sessions of their Padawans to pass this trial? I really wanted to address this as I came across it and believe that it should be pointed out as one of the many times the Jedi Order and its leaders were less than perfect. As a final question for the video, for you, what is the darkest moment in Jedi history? Or to word it differently, what do you think the darkest act committed by the Jedi Order is? The Jedi are an organization, in the Star Wars films especially, we always have perceived as the good guys, so I would like to twist this on its head and explore some of the more sinister moments in the history of our supposed heroes. If you can't get enough Star Wars and literally want to hear three superfans talk about it for hours, from news to deep lore, check out my podcast found on this channel called The Rule of Three. Link to the latest episode in the description down below. If you would like to join me in the daily Star Wars discussion and debates, follow me on Twitter at Stupendous Wave. Link will be in the description. If you enjoyed this video and feel it deserves it, it would really help me out if you could leave a like. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the YouTube channel to keep up to date with everything Star Wars related, from news, explanations, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. If you have any video topics you would like to see addressed in a future video, do not hesitate to leave them in the comments below the video, or again, tweet them at me. As always, your viewership and support means the world. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.